begin. Here goes nothing. Looks good. Let's do this. All right. So today's going to be different, yet again. Today's a modification of yesterday, and that is the first thing that I need everyone to understand, is that what we do, the way we operate, the way we think, the way we walk, is affected by the things that we do every day, but even most recently. So yesterday I streamed that I finally pieced together. Because when I stream, what I try to do is I try to make it that I figure out something. Because if I'm only talking knowledge that I've already mastered, do you guys get it? It's a remaster. It's just another take. It's just minor improvements. But I ask all of you, did we actually need to improve the baseline of whatever it is? The question is a path that takes us down a very dangerous road, because, well, if you keep re-listening to something over and 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 over again, you might be like, ah, well, there was this and there was that and there was that, and you can start modifying those areas. Are those modifications bad? No. But are they necessary? No. Because what you guys are going to realize is that the outcome already happened, the result already happened, and it doesn't matter if it was good, bad, or neutral. The point is, if we just took everything that we learned from our last one and then we modified it with our next one, do you guys get it? Then there's no problem. Yet, when we go back and when we try to recreate something, it becomes extremely dangerous. Or we just try to be like, well, you know what? I'm just going to fix the thing that I just already did. It becomes extremely dangerous, because then we're not, then we're vulnerable to the path that I'm getting to today, which is suggestions. Because all of a sudden, think of it like this, guys. I've just started exploring creating music. And it's super fascinating, because what I realized is that what actually modifies our creations is if we can get the feedback, if we know what we're creating, if what we're doing in the moment, if we can see it, if we can hear it. If I tasked all of you to create your own song right now, and you had like every instrument available to you, but you can't actually hear what you're creating until it's finished, and then it's released, and then you can hit play, and then you can hear it. You might actually be either surprised of how good it is, or you might be like, ah, wow, that part was really good, but this part is like, you guys get it. You couldn't rely on an immediate response that tells you if you're on the right path or on the wrong path. You would just have to know, or you would just have to experiment. You would just have to try. And I challenge all of you to test this out. If you are trying to create anything, if you're trying to develop anything, just try to not play test it. Try not to experience it right away. Just create. Because I'm telling you, the moment we can test and be like, well, did that function? Did that work? Did that? And sometimes we might need to know if it's even going to function at all. But once we have the vision, we know, oh, this path could work, then we don't need to get down the path of refinement. Because the path of refinement is actually not only extremely dangerous, but it's the bait, right? Because now we're open to suggestions. Do you want to go left? Do you want to go right? Ooh, on the left path, you missed some crumbs over there. That rock didn't really line up properly with the other rock on the other side. So we want the geometry and the angles to be correct. So yeah, can you modify that rock over there? Wait, does that sound like development in anything you guys do today in this world? any company, any product, any movie, any song, any video game? Does that sound like that, guys? Yeah. Why do you think that things take forever to develop and things take forever to create? Because people are always refining. People are always getting feedback responses, regardless if it's from others. If it's from others, it's extremely dangerous. But I'm saying our own feedback. As we're creating something, imagine if like before I can say my next word, I have to pause every single time, re-listen and re-watch what I just said, and then I can say the next thing. That means that what I'm gonna say next is always being modified by my previous thing. You guys get it? But what I'm trying to get all of you to realize is that is happening regardless. If you are playtesting or giving your thing to others to playtest, to experience, or to share their opinion, and you're re-experiencing your own thing, we're always then now seeing areas for improvement. Is there anything wrong with that? No, but where it is wrong is that it prevents us just from doing. Because if we just walk forward and we're like, well, you know what? Once it's finished or completed, let's see what happened. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, this area was a little unbalanced. This was a little easier. This was way too easy. This was really good. This was really awesome. Wow. What were we doing here that was so good? Oh, we were just talking our knowledge. We were just creating freely. We had an aligned vision. We wanted to create a unique experience with all the variables that we have already present, and we were just having fun. We actually made people explore. We made people investigate. We made people look around over here, look around over there. We didn't rush. We didn't worry about getting it right because we were all aligned. But yet, we trusted everyone, not because we were worried about what they could do, but we were just calm. So what I'm trying to get you to realize, guys, is that the reason why I'm starting like this is because it's explaining why I'm operating a little differently today. Because I realized that I had defeated some things and I had learned some things yesterday that I was piecing together, because that's what all my streams are, just piecing together knowledge. Because again, I don't want to just talk about the things that I've already mastered, because sure, I can explain them in a different way and be like, hey, well, this time it's a leaf story and tomorrow it's a water story. And that doesn't mean that those are not bad. But if I'm not learning new, do you guys get it? It means that I'm just trying to find refinements. And I'm like, I could keep creating new. I think about it through video games, but for most of you guys, think about it from movies if you haven't gone down the amazing video game path, which is, or books, is that just think of it like, hey, they keep trying to modify, like they spend years trying to get their movie just right, their video game just right. I'm saying they could have created 20 video games in the same time frame or 10 movies in the same time frame if they just were like, all right, we did it and that's it, let's release it. But they're so worried about the feedback response and what people might say that they don't just keep creating. When they're not being dictated by that, they're free to do. And that is what we all need to get to. But what you guys are going to realize is that, yeah, sure, it's feedback, sure, it's our own refinement process, but what I really realize is that it's suggestions. It's suggestions. And it's not so much even other people's suggestions, because we come to realize we know what we're good at, we know how we think, we know how we can create. Let's say even if you are developing a game or a movie and you get actually freedom. You're one of the few blessed ones in the world where the people that you are doing creating something with give you creative freedom, and they're not going to put their chains on you. Because that's really what it is, guys, is that each area gets chained by each person's individual chains. So if I'm like, yeah, I don't really like that kind of font, and I put a chain around it, well, guess what? Even if you think it's amazing, you won't do it anymore because someone else's chain now prevented it. Do we get it, guys? So that's what ends up happening to all of our creations and all of our paths that we walk, is that people put their chains on them. And what we have to understand is that for them, it's not wrong, because it is their chain. If they're like, oh, that font, I had a bad experience, or ooh, I had a really good experience, that was the font that I used, that I wrote a letter to the girl that I want to date, and or like an email, and I used that font and she loved it. So you see, like, now that font is positive for myself, but it's not positive for someone else. Do we get it? Their chain is correct for them. But what does that mean? That if then all of a sudden I present it to them and they say, this is horrible. Do we get it? It's horrible for them because of what it reminds them of. But it's amazing for us because of what it reminds us of. And there's nothing we can do about that. This is why I'm just trying to get everyone to just create freely what they're experiencing, what they're currently believing, what they think is a good idea, and just try and see what happens. Just have complete creative freedom. Think about it. We wouldn't be reliant on AI, because I think this is my theory right now. But I think this is the reason why people rely on AI, because it removes that from them. They let something else make the suggestion for them. They're like, well, we've all deemed that as good, so hey, AI does it, we're safe now. Cool. I don't have to worry about it anymore. It was AI. It wasn't me. I'm saying that I think the reason why we feel that way, guys, is because we worry that we can't create our own way anymore because other people's chains. But then when we are reconsuming our own things, we are placing our own chains on us. Because I'm telling you guys, when we're doing it, all of a sudden we're like, we know what we're capable of. We know how good we are. We can see visions. We knew what are the vision that we were intending. And maybe when we had a set vision, we're like, we got deviated here. We don't know why we got deviated until we learned that knowledge. But we realize, wow, we got deviated here. We got deviated here. So then it makes us want to go back to something and then be like, let's fix that deviation. Let's fix this deviation. And then when we fix that deviation, now it's good. And sure it is. But what you guys don't realize then is that it takes away the organicness of the creation. Is that necessarily a bad thing? Because you might actually, by doing so, you might actually remove some of the negative chains from other people. But you might also create new negative chains for people. So what does that mean? It means that we'll never know, which means it's irrelevant. We have a set vision, we know what we're trying to do, and we just do it. We're not trying to harm people, we're just trying to create something amazing, each one of us. And then we just do it. And I'm telling you, when that happens, if we don't let anything deviate our vision and we just stick to it, what I'm telling you guys is that we're protected from suggestions, regardless if they're positive or negative. And you can't tell us if this part needs to be better, this part needs to be reduced or worse or changed. We just do. And that is what we all need to get to. So the reason why I started this way, I could talk about this, just so you guys know, this part, I could talk about for hours. For hours. I could talk about creation and how we need to create and how we need to modify our creations and why we can't be aligned forever. It's just so you guys know. It's something I believe in. But I'm only using it to exemplify something, which is the paths that we walk matter. So I realized that I only need to be talking about things that I'm learning rather than going back like, what did I talk about 12 months ago? That was really good. It was. I'm like, can I start improving that? But what if I go back to that? I take the baseline of it, and now I'm just like re-editing it or cutting it and then like adding in a new, like, hey, right here, I'm going to add 10 more minutes. Do you guys get it? It doesn't mean that it's not making it even more amazing. But what if, like, let's say you did reconsume your own thing. Like, wow, we had our vision here correct for us. What could I do from here to there? And then I create new. And you guys see, like, now there's nothing holding me back. There's no chain. There's no string. There's nothing. I'm just doing. Because I'm not worried about my chains, your strings, the things holding you back or the things holding me back. I'm telling you guys, I just think of it I'm just gonna use video game for myself when I reconsume this. But like Final Fantasy X had it right because they had their set vision and they stuck to it throughout the entire time. And yet I'm telling you guys, I'm sure they still had some challenges and some modifications, but they released probably one of the best Final Fantasies that they created because of where it came. I'm grading it based on, because what you guys are gonna learn is you can grade something. I'm not saying that like it's a 10 out of 10 game or whatever. That's not how I'm grading it. You see, that doesn't matter. I'm not grading it based on money. I'm not grading it based on result. I'm grading it based off the design. So what I'm saying is that they had their set vision, all right? And they actually innovated and modified the video game industry at that time because they went from slightly different graphical style, and a year before that they created something that was also completely different, Final Fantasy IX, and then like a year later they released Final Fantasy X. And I'm saying, guys, it was a full-fledged game. I had complex story. It was one of the first games to have voice acting to that for a full story, and it had much more advanced graphics. It had a battle system that the people were starting to view as negative, turn-based, but they embraced it and created strategy there, and they modified it. And you guys see, like, because everyone was saying we have to do action, It doesn't mean action isn't good, but how is it possible that they created, still to this day, I'm saying anyone can play it and they will think it's great. Doesn't mean that they might attack like, oh, the graphics are weak, but you guys see, that's their chain. That's their chain. That means it's an irrelevant critique. But how is it that they could create something that disrupted things, innovated things, improved things, and they could do it so quickly? Do you guys get it? I'm grading it based off of that. The fact that most things take years to develop now is the worst red flag that could possibly exist. Okay? Because it means that people are reconsuming their things, either themselves or other people that are being like, hey, before you release something, I need to see it. You're like, okay. And then someone is saying, not this. Do you see this? That part is a little weird. Oh, there's like a speck of dust here that stands out. And I'm saying, guys, if I'm gonna experience your creation for the first time, I don't know if that speck of dust or that rock belongs there or not. I'm just gonna view it as, that's interesting. Why did they put that there? Could that mean that? Like, wow, that's really cool. I'm like, wow. Let's say it's like a castle town of like this evil empress, and that creates illusions. And while they're designing it, they make us explore this town, and like they put like random objects by these homes in this town. Let's say like a barrel, a ladder, and they just did that because they're like, oh, we just gotta add things. And I'm just saying, like, wait, I could like see like the villagers that lived here. Like, how did they get up there? Like, did they go on like the balcony? And like, you guys see, like, it doesn't matter even if that was what the creators intended, because that's how I was experiencing and interpreting it based on my current spot where I'm at. So all of us worry so much about that, and I'm saying it's completely irrelevant. We should always try to create the best thing possible for us, but we just keep refining it for ourselves over and over and over and over and over and over again as we create the next thing. And if you guys think about it, if you go almost like in order, you don't have to, but you can. But if you go almost in order, you create a progression journey that anyone, if they're following, can see. Like, hey, if I release 10 movies or 10 video games, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can see the whole progression journey as you're learning from the previous one. And you just keep doing. But then you can also see when people got deviated. Do you guys get it? It's very interesting to see once you understand design. So why am I saying this, guys? Why did I start this way? 1, to inject myself with positive. But 2, because I realized that if I do this, this is a way that I can counter the suggestion game that they're doing against me because they're trying to modify my creations, or they're trying to get me not to do things, or they're trying to get me to do things. Because really what today's about is, can we trust suggestions? Can we do them if we get suggested? Should we not? Should we? Should we listen to them? Like how can we handle the battle of suggestions? And I realized that I was extremely vulnerable to suggestions if it came to my creations. Because, well, after all, I don't need suggestions. Once in a while, they're not bad. But I'm like, wait a minute. They can modify how I do things if they just present a few things. So, I realized the solution to everything is to just talk about what we're currently experiencing, what we're currently learning. Just create what we're currently learning. Think about it. For any, like, if you guys are learning how to create a game, what are you learning right now? Oh, we're focused on the battle part. I'm like, okay, this part's gonna have more battles. Cool. Do you guys get it? It'll just flow. All right. So the reason why I'm saying that is because that's what today is about. I am just talking about the knowledge that now think of it like every single day there's a new problem to solve that's not actually a problem that you guys consider problems, like from the outside world or like overt. I'm saying once you get to if you've been following all my knowledge, you should be very close to this, which is you start piecing together that actually there's things that are presenting things to us. 99% of it's mental, to cause us either to not do or do, and to modify or not to modify, to suffer or not to suffer, so that they can then dictate what we do and what we don't do. So I'm realizing that this is the response, this is the answer to after what I figured out yesterday on stream. So what you guys are seeing is literally me deciphering and piecing together the battle of yesterday's knowledge, yesterday's result. Think of it like we're two armies, fantasy empires, battling to take control over a castle, right? And I won yesterday, and I took over the castle. Yet all of a sudden, so we think we're safe for a while, but then today we wake up and we're like, guys, we're already under attack. They're already infiltrating our castle. They're like, what? We thought there'd be some downtime. Like we were gonna celebrate. We were gonna make like a festival and have food and a banquet and water and all this stuff like that. What do you mean? I'm saying that the moment that happens, we're like, oh wow, they're already in our castle. They're already attacking us. They're here with us. They're right now here with us. To arms! All right, where are the archers? Where are the swords? Where are the axes? Where are the wizards? We need to create a protection spell in that area. We need to create some barrels. We need to create a spike trap over there to block some paths. We got this. They're infiltrating on the east side, quick. And we just woke up. And what I'm saying, guys, is that's what's happening right now. I think of it like I just woke up. I'm in this castle. We were victorious. And now you guys are seeing how I am fighting back and solving the war, the battle that is happening right now. The response from the enemy. Do you guys get what I'm trying to say? Is that if we began operating that way, all of us, and we do so in our creations, well then things just start flowing. Things just start. There's nothing they can do then because we're actively all solving the current battle. And that means that there's a 99.9% chance that I'm going to defeat everything. I think I already have, by the way, guys, but now I'm just explaining it in knowledge form. That's what really this is. And then it means that I've already basically won the castle battle, but it's happening right now. We're doing the fight, but I already saw all their strategies. Do you guys get it? Like I was sitting on the ramparts, on top of Hellfire ramparts of the castle, and I was overlooking. I was there talking to the girl because we were celebrating. I was like, hey, can't believe we won the battle. On the festival, let's drink some water together. I want you to try my cereal combination. It's really good. She's like, yes, please. Let's do that. And as you're talking, all of a sudden you're like, wait a minute. Hey, be careful. And then you look. And like, oh my God, the enemy. You look inside your own castle, and you look to the east, and you look to the west, and you look to the sky, and you're like, oh, the enemy's inside our castle, the enemy's to the east, the enemy's to the west, and they're actually attacking from the sky as well. Do you guys understand? That means that now I saw that. So now that means I can start alerting everyone. I can start telling everyone because I saw it. I'm like, oh, the sky attack is happening like this. The inside infiltration's happening like this. To the east, we need to block that path. Do you guys understand? That is the benefit of always using what we learn and creating new based on that. Rather than reinterpreting or improving a baseline that we've already created. Because it means we stopped learning. Okay. So that's how I got to this. Just so you guys know. So yesterday, I had pieced together that sorrow and misery are actually a new development that they have used to defeat any of us who know how to shield ourselves, to protect ourselves, to protect our castles, right? Think of it like the moat and all those things that people that in the medieval ages they used to protect their castles. So they created all those things, right? They created a moat, they created a bridge, they created a gate, they created archers on the ramparts, all those things, guys. Do you understand? They figured out ways to protect themselves from all the openings, all the attacks that could possibly happen. So what I'm saying is that they had learned the things that are trying to cause us problems to make us do what they want and not do what they don't want. Think of it like that, guys. That's essentially what the enemy is. And I think we all can agree. Isn't that really just what enemies are? So what I pieced together is that they need to infiltrate. So how can they infiltrate? They need to create sorrow and misery. I couldn't piece together how they did it until yesterday, which was what they actually end up doing is they present positives to us. So that story where I'm standing on the ramparts, looking out and talking to the girl. I tell her, hey, at the festival, let's drink water and eat cereal together. While I'm doing that, all of a sudden, there's some other positives that start happening. Someone walks by and it's like, General Shepherd Star, you're amazing. I'm like, oh, thank you. Then another, all of a sudden, like an owl lands on our hand, and I'm like, and he goes, whoop, whoop. I'm like, wow, an owl. She's like, you even are friendly with the owls? I'm like, yeah. All right, owl, be good. Do you guys see, like, all of a sudden, like, there's all these other, like, random reinforcements that start happening, and you guys see it's like creating also like this this fantasy for the girl. Doesn't mean it's not real. Do you guys get it? It doesn't mean it's not real, but it makes one seem even better. It makes one seem even better. And we start walking down this path, and all of a sudden, we trip. Ugh. And we fall, and we land in like oil or like mud, and we're like, ugh, whoa. She's like, you're clumsy. And she laughed she giggled about it. She took it well because, you know, we submitted so many positives into her. But if that hadn't happened, she would have probably been like, I'm not going to talk to this guy. Look at it. General Shepherd Star falling into mud and oil. What is he going to be lit on fire next? So, you guys get it? Like, when that happens, now that I fell like that in the oil, but what if she giggled, right? She laughed at that moment, and when that happened, I was just like, oh no, I'm losing my chance with the girl now. She's actually just laughing at me. She thinks I'm not good. I thought, like, this could finally be the reward for my hard-fought battle. Finally overcame the enemy. We got the castle back. We protected it, and then... Hey, and remember, you saw the enemies already that were arriving. Do you guys get it? Like, you already saw that there were new enemies arriving, and you were, like, gonna tell her, but you got interrupted by someone being like, Shepherd Star is the best! And the owl and all this stuff. So then you're like, hey, I'm gonna go back to my barracks and my quarters, and I'm just gonna rest. I didn't realize it until right now when I slipped and fell into the oil, and I almost lit on fire, but the battle really drained me. She's like, yeah, you really fought so. Oh, really? And then now you feel a little better again, because she's like, I was watching you. You're just defeating all the enemies. I'm like, thank you. But yeah, and then right as she says that, at the same time, a mental thought pops into her head, and it's like she's just saying that because she feels embarrassed to be near you because you fell into the oil. You're like, oh yeah, of course. She's just being nice. All right, yeah, I'll see you at the festival, I guess. She's like, and you already walk away. You don't even hear her say, yes, of course, I can't wait. You don't even hear her say that anymore, because you're now feeling sorrow and misery. Do you guys see? It happened. So when we get to our quarter in our barracks and we sit on our bed, we're like, we just now don't feel capable. We don't feel willing. And it's because they weaponized those things. Do you guys see? They brought the positive reminders, and then they just presented a small little negative, and then that makes us fall to create the sorrow and the misery. So now anything that gets presented next, the positives, now are viewed through the lens of, well, it's just now a reinforcement for our sorrow and misery. But yet moments before that, we were so shielded, right? We thought, wow, we won. We were one of the key pieces that won the battle to reclaim our castle. And hey, now the people are happy. There's going to be a festival. Maybe we'll get the girl. And actually, hey, but I am seeing a new enemy. I'm like, I'm really on fire right now. I'm seeing it all. But you guys see, now we don't even care about that anymore. Like, nah, I can't. So the source of it was the positive reminders. Do you guys get it? The source of our sorrow and misery that makes us now feel worse was the positive reminders. So they first present the positives, then they present a small negative. It makes us go, ugh. Then they send another positive, which now we don't, because think of it like we have our shield. They get past our shield, and now they send it the positive, and now the positive reinforces the sorrow and the misery rather than our shield. Our shield is still in that oil where we fell. The girl picks up and is like, he forgot about his shield. Should I? Then she's like, should I knock on his barracks and quarter and give him back his shield? She's like, no, because he was kind of cold to me. I don't know if he likes me anymore. Like, I just, I guess I'll give it to him. I don't want to seem needy. I don't want to seem like I need him. So I'll give him the shield if he talks to me at the festival. But I don't know. You see, like, now it's also affecting. You guys get it? So that's what I pieced together. that's how they were doing it, because I couldn't understand. I just couldn't comprehend. I'm like, how are they making me feel sorrow and misery if I know how to protect myself from all the negatives that get presented? And it's because they infiltrate through positives. So, because then they build up this mental world that we think that we can achieve that's possible. So now I shake that off, right? And I realize, wait a minute. So then the actual problem is the positives. So hear what I'm saying, guys. The actual problem are the positives, but I'm like, wait, which positives? The ones that are presented to us that we didn't self-source. We self-sourced the girl. We self-sourced seeing the next set of attacks that were coming in the distance. Do you guys understand? 1, 2, 3, 4, and her. The owl showing up. Someone yelling, General Shepard. Do you guys get it? Those ones we didn't self-source. Those are the ones that are used against us. Because if they can't penetrate our shield, they need to disarm us. They need to make us drop our shield. And they can only do so because we will never drop our shield if they're just shooting arrows, because we can block all of them. Our shield is so powerful, we have a force field that doesn't even we don't even have to use our shield anymore. But when the owl lands, because we're like, owls are my favorite, one of my favorite animals with lions. And then someone says, General Shepard Star is amazing. You see, now we look in that direction. We have the owl here. So then all of a sudden, the owl landed on our arm that we use our shield. You guys get it? We're not shielding anymore. So then, something invisible infiltrates right here. So now they're right here. All right, where were we? And that, all of a sudden, we don't know why then all of a sudden, we walk a little bit, and oh my God, there was oil. You guys get it? It's used against us because they can't otherwise get through our shield. So I realized that because I was like, I'm getting consumed to sorrow and misery. So I pieced that together, which meant now that I have identified that the positives are the problem that are presented to us through an external. Anything that we self-source is not the problem. Because we know it's one of our positives. Hey, I know I want to talk to the girl. I want to see her at the festival. I want to drink water with her. I want to talk to her about my cereal combination and teach her about that and eat that with her. You guys get it? Like, we don't need anything else. We don't need anything else. Anything that now gets suggested to us, anything that now gets presented to us is bad. Is now we're like, oh, that's how they're going to infiltrate. That's how they're going to try to make me slip on the oil again to light me on fire. I'm not going to fall for it. So that one's easy, right? Like now we're like, okay, if someone walks by and says, General Shepard Star, you're amazing. She's like, wow, he didn't even really acknowledge that. He just like nodded. Whoa. The owl lands and you're like, you just have it over there, but you're still fully focused. She's like, whoa. The animals love him, but he doesn't even deviate. So now fast forward. We go to the festival. we overcame our misery. We go to the festival, but remember, guys, we are now worried because when we were sitting there in our barracks, in our quarter, because I mean, we're the general, the tactician, the strategist, so we were piecing together, like, how did it happen? How did they make me slip on the oil? And I'm like, how did they create that sorrow and misery feeling that made me literally have to rest? I had to go to my room and just recover. I'm like, how did they do it? And I'm like, wow, they presented those external positives of mine. And then I now interpret everything differently. Well, you know what? I know that I witnessed that there were some attacks starting to happen, but I didn't do anything about them. That's not good. That means that we're probably going to get attacked during the festival. So you know what? I'm just going to focus on trying to solve the attacks during the festival. I'm not going to even talk to the girl. I'm not going to do anything because she probably doesn't even like me anymore anyway. So I'm just going to do that because I know it's my own positive. All right? But I really did want to have that water with the girl and shore the cereal thing. And you know what? Even though I know that we were starting to get attacked, I mean, I saw that we were going to be attacked hours ago, and we still haven't. Does that mean that maybe they're just setting things up right now? Maybe we don't have to interrupt this festival. Maybe we can enjoy it. But you know what? I'm just gonna focus on trying to uncover where the attacks are, because I know that those are my positives. I'm not gonna be reliant on external positives that I don't source, because I know they're the problem. They're what made me feel sorrow and misery again. Okay. So, see, I pieced it together, guys, and now I feel better. And while I was in my quarter, my barracks, like, I did a few things that I enjoy. Like, I don't have coffee, but say I have a coffee drink. I drank coffee because it's one of my positives, self-sourced. I put on some music that I enjoy listening to from, like, a video game that I sometimes play to help me create new strategies. I get to experiment and create my own lessons and limits in them, so I can learn stuff on my own terms, not when there's disruptions present. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do a little bit of training. I'd use like this dancing simulation game that can really push my the speed that I have to operate and respond at. While it also I get to train my focuses. So there's like arrows that fly by, and I have to focus on them. But I'm at the same time I'm trying to relearn and reinterpret what I mastered yesterday in the battle. I'm like, okay, how did we battle yesterday? And while I'm doing that, I'm practicing the arrow dance simulation charting thing. Do you guys see? Like, I did all these stuff in my room. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna cook something for myself here, so that I'm not as hungry at the festival, so that I can focus on just trying to uncover where they're gonna create new attacks. Because then I can just be with people. Do you guys see? And like, I can talk and be like, what's next? So you guys see? Now, sorrow and misery has been defeated. Because we've identified the culprit, which was the external positive reminders that were being pushed to us that we weren't sourcing. There are positives, but we didn't choose them, right? Someone acknowledging our capability for our strategies and our tactics. That's one of our positives. Do you guys understand? Not the praise, not the adoration, but hey, wow, the strategy and tactics. Yeah, and so you see, it gets us to focus on our strategy and tactics. That's the positive of it. The praise wasn't our positive. You see, we already defeated that. But someone getting us to refocus on strategy and tactics was. Do you guys see how complex it gets? Because It doesn't even have to be some kind of external reward, like, oh, I got money. It can just be they get us to refocus on one of the things that we consider are our positives. That's can be as dangerous as it is. So now I'm in a completely different world because I got rid of all the sorrow and misery when I was in my room, my quarters, my barracks. Now I'm ready. Now I feel unstoppable. Yet at the same time, I pieced together how they were creating the problems. So what that means is that every single time I was doing something, like when I was training and reinterpreting my own works, I could see when they were starting when they were doing it. Do you guys get it? Like, I'm like, oh, that's how they do it. They present a positive, and I was like, wait a minute. Oh, they even do so mentally. I'm like, I think there's something. I think one of the wizards infiltrated this castle. I'm like, one of the wizards infiltrated this castle. One of the wizards infiltrated this castle, guys. And I'm like, I know there's a spell present here. I know it. They must have created like some kind of fog, mist aura that is present in this castle that we can't see, but I know that it's inserting like these mental thoughts into our heads. I'm like, I know it's going to happen to everyone at the festival now. I need to talk to people and see if it's happening to them. But I'm like, wow, all of a sudden I was doing like my training with the dance arrows to really push myself. And they were inserting things. I played a little bit of video games to learn new things, create a new experience, to experience something, to explore. I'm like, wow, they're inserting positives from my past. I'm like, wait. There are positives from my past, but they're also just my positives. And then they were doing the same play, but they were inserting it directly into my head. Like, there's no counter to that. I'll need to figure that one out. All right. Anyway, let's go to the festival. You guys see? I was figuring things out. I was learning. I was trying to decipher what is their response. What are they doing? What is now their response to what I was doing? Because I realized no externals, no external positives, none. Anything that suggests to me that's through an external positive, enemy. I'm like, wow, I'm protected. And I healed myself. I'm in a great spot. Let's do this. But then I got a hint that there's a wizard that infiltrated our castle that's doing these like mental thoughts that get directly inserted into our head. I'm like, I haven't solved that one yet, but I'm like, but you guys see now, I'm like, I'm also now walking and embracing things, viewing positives with a second look. I'm like, yeah, every positive, I'm like, I'm not sure about that anymore. I'm not sure about that anymore. I'm not sure about that anymore. You guys see, like, because of the things that happened, because of the things that I learned, because of the battles that I overcame, because of the things that I created, because of the things that I experienced, now all of a sudden, guys, you guys see, I'm not viewing positives the same way anymore. And I'm like, wow, this wizard attack is insane. They can put positives directly into our head even without an external positive presenting. Now, it was easy though, because then I'm like, wait a minute. So the mental world has the exact same experience. It's exactly the same as the physical world, our actual world. So that means that they can present what we consider an external positive. An external positive is not something that is one of our things that we already have, but they can suggest it. So think of it, just so you guys, to ground it a little bit so maybe people can understand. But for myself, like, think of it like I have 10 video games that I'm currently playing, all right? And if all of a sudden they suggest video game number 11, do you guys get it? That's an external positive suggest. That's not my own. Doesn't mean that it's not a positive, because playing video game has things that I can learn, things that I can figure out. Create experiences, great music, great story. All those things are positive. Do you guys understand? But it's not one of my self-sourced ones because I don't even have it yet, or something else gave it to me, or something else needs to present it. Do we understand? So I'm like, oh, they can still do the same thing in the mental world. They can present our not self-sourced ones through an external. Do you guys get it? Think of it like our mental world is exactly the same as our physical world, is that you have to be like, wow, what are they presenting that we don't already have in our physical world? Because that's what's so complicated about it, because you have to understand what you've already sourced and what's yours so that you can go back to those. So if all of a sudden let's say like I have my favorite sword that's hanging in my quarters, and they're in my barracks, and all of a sudden I'm in my mental world, and they're like, hey, you can talk to the blacksmith and get a new sword because you were the general shepherd. So I'm like, what? No, that's an external positive. Whoa, you guys see, like, I figured that out. I'm like, oh my gosh, they can actually do the same things that they do physically, present variables as we're just walking by, and they can do so mentally and insert it directly into our head. So you piece all that together. So now, you guys see, like, all our creations, all our experiences, all our battles changed our behavior a little bit. Because these are all the things that I learned from my battle yesterday. From protecting our castle, from defeating the enemy. Fantasy empires. We are the victor. We're victorious. So, we decided to go to the festival now. But remember, now we're on guard. We're cautious because we know that we already saw enemies present. We knew that they were attacking from the sky. We know that there was a wizard that infiltrated, that used some spell that it inserts mental thoughts directly into our head. We know that they're going to invade at some point because we saw enemies in the distance when we were talking to the girl on the ramparts from the outside, and there were some people that were inside that we didn't recognize either. So do you guys understand that all of a sudden we saw all those things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we processed everything when we were in our barracks of what happened, what were the external positives. So you guys get it? Now there's nothing that they can do anymore. So now we go to the festival. When I'm at the festival, all of a sudden, I'm on guard. I'm not enjoying it the same way that I used to. Because, well, I now know that the castle got infiltrated. I now know that there's problems happening. I now know that there's an enemy present. I don't know who it is, I don't know where it is, but I know. So, I'm looking around, I'm talking to people, I'm asking to see if they've noticed strange people, like if they maybe saw a wizard or someone that they didn't recognize, and some people are saying yes. And I'm like, oh no. That means they really have infiltrated. And I'm like, have you guys been like having weird thoughts populate into your head that maybe like remind you of like positives from your past, that when you were capable while you're doing something that you already believe in, and then all of a sudden after you walk that path a little bit and they create the mental illusionary world for you, all of a sudden they present, boom, one negative that you really don't enjoy, and then it makes you feel sorrow and misery because it reminds you of what your reality actually is and what you failed to get and what you failed to have. And when that happens, all of a sudden then they present another positive, like, hey, don't you like that song? Or hey, don't you do this? And when that happens, all of a sudden now you just want to go back to your room and to your quarters and cry and wallow in misery, be like, why does it have to be like this? And you literally just said that to someone at the festival, and one person's like, yeah, absolutely. That's actually, everything you just said is what I'm going through. Whoa. And then someone else is like, you're crazy, General Shepherd Star. I thought you were supposed to protect us. And I'm like, maybe I shouldn't be talking to people. All right, let's just walk around. So now you're walking around. You see the girl in the distance that you were going to spend time with at the festival. And drink water with her and show her the cereal mix that you make. So when that happens, suddenly, a friend of yours shows up, taps you on the shoulder, and is like, hey. You're like, oh, it's like, General Shepherd Star, I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything you've done for us. We wouldn't have overcome the battle without your great leadership and strategy. You hear that and you say thank you, but now remember, because of what we learned yesterday, we're like, aha, that's an external positive that they're presenting. That means it's a bait for bad. So the entire time, you're not even really listening to the praise anymore because now you know that it's meant for bad. So you just brush it off. You're like, I'm so good. I figured this out. They're never gonna bait me to sorrow and misery again through positives. Do you guys see? Like now you even feel better. Then, all of a sudden, this girl that you don't recognize shows up and just says, "Hey, I probably shouldn't tell you this, but that girl over there in the distance." You look, she's pointing at the one that you already talked to at the ramparts that you guys agreed that you were basically going to have a date at this festival with the water and the cereal mix. And she's like, she's worried that you don't like her anymore. And she wants to talk to you. But yeah, anyway, it wasn't my place to say that, but it just seemed like you guys were really getting along, and I don't know. I was kind of cheering for you guys. All of a sudden, you're like, you pause because you're like, wait a minute. That's not an external positive. Yes, an external variable presented it. Think of it, it could have even been the wizard's mist that we don't know where it is, the invisible stuff that's putting stuff in her head, but it's like, wow, that's an external. But you're like, it's not. That girl, I already know is one of my self-sourced positives. That's one of the ones that I would want to choose. Do you guys get it? So that means that now we got suggested one of our self-sourced positives. It's different. It changes things because I'm like, wait a minute. I now identified that all positives, if they're externals, are used to bait us to create the clash to sorrow and misery. Because they recreate our mental world for us, and then they destroy it. And that's whenever they destroy the mental world that they built up for us, that they're choosing, we get consumed. So I'm like, wait a minute. That girl's my self-sourced one. I know she's a positive for me. And it's not that they're not making me believe capability or anything. She's not telling me that, hey, you can date her. I already knew that I could. All of a sudden now, we actually are frozen. We're frozen in time. We don't know what to do anymore. Because for the first time now, we're like, wait a minute. That was a suggestion for one of my self-sourced positives. The king all of a sudden makes a speech, clanks, ding, 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 and looks at us and says, "My people, today is not about praise. Today is not about adoration. Today is, I want all of you to start learning and developing and experiencing your training the way Shepherd Star does. I want you to play the dancing simulation game while you're reconsuming something you've already created or something you've learned to try to further improve your knowledge. I want you to listen to instrumental music so that you have positives from your past so that you can continue to be even better. So think video game music. I want you to, and the reason why you do the dance simulation thing while reconsuming your own creations is because it prevents, there's like some kind of invisible mist or something that is inserting weird mental thoughts into our head. So when we do that, our focus is completely controlled. And I learned all this from Shepherd Star, and I'm telling you guys, it works. I've tried it. So I want all of you to do the same thing. And then after that, I want you guys to play a new video game that you haven't played before and create your own experiences, encounters, and limits in them. Make it more challenging, but add your own little things. And then, you know what? If there isn't enough musical variation in that game, add your own song to it in the background playing to create your own experience from something that's already created. Because I'm telling you guys, you can learn so many new lessons. And that was the reason why we were victorious at protecting this castle. So I want all of you to do that after this festival. So now, again, you're like almost paralyzed. You don't even know what to do anymore because you're like, what is going on? I'm just getting pushed and suggested my own positives that I have self-sourced or self-created. And then someone says, hey, comes up to us, Shepherd Star, your way is the way, but you know what? Maybe when you create your a new thing today, or when you play a video game and you create a limit today, how would you make it even more challenging? How about you like reduce whatever, like you have, let's say, items that you use to make overcome encounters, like weapons and shields and armor. How about you use one version weaker of each of them? So like if you're using the level 5 sword, use the level 4 sword. If you're using the level 10 armor, use the level 9 armor. And you're like, but I already, and then you even respond this time. You're like, well, normally the game intends you to do that encounter with a level 15 sword, a level 15 armor, and a level 15 shield. You want me to use level 4 now for all of those or something? Versus 5? You're like, can you? Maybe. I might have to then create a new strategy. I might have to find ways to like find new healing, because I'm going to take so much more damage. That'd be really interesting. You even say, that's not a bad idea. I'll check it out. That's a good suggestion. And they already walked away. You're like, wait a minute. All of a sudden you like, they walk away, but as they walk away, there's like, all of a sudden they like vanish into mist. You're like, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I just realized. The person who just came up to me that suggested all of my self-sourced positives, the ones that I already know are mine, not something external that's presented to me. That was some kind of illusion, shadow mist thing. It wasn't actually a real... that means that they fully infiltrated the festival. They're here with us right now. So that means them suggesting that I should talk to the girl over there. Could that be also one of the infiltrated enemies? Was the king also infiltrated? Was that even our real king? Was it an imposter? Now we don't know anymore. Because, you see, it was easy when they were presenting positives that talk about our capability, talk about how good we are, talk about praise, talk about an external, or something external that we don't already own, or something that we don't already have done. And they're saying, hey, you should do this. Well, that's easy to defeat because they're like, yeah, we don't need that. But when all of a sudden it's a suggestion, be like, hey, you should create a new experience in the video game that you're playing. You're like, I am already playing it, so I know it's one of my positives. And I like creating new experiences. But then you're like, wait a minute. No, I'm not going to. Now, all of a sudden, I'm like, I'm literally just sitting there looking around, and now I doubt everything. Because I'm like, I'm not going to create a new experience in my video game. Nope. 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 I'm not going to do the level 4 difficulty challenge that you just suggested. Nope. I'm not going to do it. I know it was an imposter that suggested it. There's no way. I'm not going to do it. I know it was bad. But wait. Then all of a sudden, like, I pause and I'm like, but wait, that's one of my positives. I like making things more challenging. I like creating my own experiences. Why wouldn't I do it? Just because they suggested it to me? It's not even an external positive. It's one of my self-sourced ones. It's because I can't trust it anymore. And the king telling everyone to do my way? Like, yeah, right. I've been trying to get the king to see the light for years now. And he's never got anyone to believe my way. Why would all of a sudden today be the day that he's like, yes, everyone do my way? No, that means I shouldn't do my way today. I shouldn't, because they suggested it. They suggested that I should do it. And I shouldn't do that because I now know that they use positives intentionally to create misery and sorrow in us by then building us up, and then they take it away by presenting a negative that reminds us of what our reality actually is. I can't even do my own positives today. I know they're baiting me. They're suggesting them. Oh no. But you know what? Now I literally just go to a corner in the festival and I just I grab my sword that I know, that I recognize, my master sword, and I stab it in the ground, and I lean on it. And I'm beat up. I don't know what to do anymore, because now every single positive I don't trust anymore, because I know that there's always a wizard that casts a spell that inserts direct mental thoughts into our head. I now know that there are some either like shadow assassins or something that show up, and they literally are presenting poison suggestions to us, because I know that wasn't one of our people. They were an imposter, and they literally intentionally suggested to me that I should do one of my positives that I know are my self-sourced ones. So what can I do? I don't want to... I can't let them get past my shield again to create sorrow and misery. So I can't do anything. Because now they're suggesting, you should create... How about you do the dance simulation? How about you play a video game and make it more challenging? They're telling me how to do my own positives. But I'm like, some of those were good ideas. I don't listen to them anymore because some of them were good ideas, and I won't do it because I now know that that's a bait. But now I don't even feel like doing anything. And then as I'm leaning on my sword, I see in the distance the girl. And she's looking at me. And she's holding a bowl of cereal. Or a bowl. And a glass of water in her hand. And when I see that, I pause for a moment. Because I'm like, wait a minute. That was my own positive. I was the one who suggested that to her, that we should do that together. So all of a sudden, I pause and I say, you know what? I grab my master sword, I stab it into the wall, and I walk toward the girl. All of a sudden, I don't react, but I see from the corner of my eye that there are certain figures that move the moment I make this decision. And I'm like, aha, those must be the ones that infiltrated, because they're reacting to my actions. They're reacting to my decisions. Got it. Very good. That's what I wanted to learn. So, what I end up doing next is I end up talking to the girl. And I decide to just talk freely. I'm like, it's not safe right now here. She's like, yeah, I was wondering when you were going to say that. I caught it too. I'm like, let's get out of here. And, I was hoping to say those words to you in a very different light. I was hoping to say those words to you after we had a great time eating this cereal together and drinking water, and then I could say, let's get out of here. And we could, I could take you back to my quarters and my barracks for positive. She's like, oh. Well, I was kind of hoping that too, huh? I'm like, really? So kind of just going for it and not Just being myself, not being worried about any of those things, is just pretty awesome, huh? Just like, let's do this. Let's get out of here now, quick. And I'm like, there's going to be people that react and move as we're doing this. Those are the enemy, because everyone else isn't going to be is too focused in their world. But I believe that the wizard has created enough illusions and mental things that these people are not even notice us. They're in their own mental world that they got created for them. Let's do this. And just grab the girl's hand and you get out of there. And you're like, but your master sword. I'm like, we don't need it. We are the master sword. So it's like, are we going to your room? I'm like, no. We're leaving this castle temporarily. So you guys literally just walk out the front gate. And now you're in the desert. He's like, it's kind of dark outside. Should we really be walking through the desert? I'm like, yes, we need to do this. And you see, like, there's no hesitation. You're just walking forward. You know now that she was yourself source positive. So as you're walking through the desert, a sandstorm starts brewing. You literally see gigantic sandworms jumping in and out of the desert. She's like, this is terrifying. We should go back. I'm like, no, we can't. The castle got infiltrated. It's not safe. She's like, I'm thirsty. I need water. And she says that, all of a sudden, water appears in the distance. You're like, yeah, I'm thirsty too. What should we do? So I'm going to pause the story there. What should we do? Now we're in the desert. There are gigantic sandworms around us. So that means that there's negatives present. We know we escaped a negative area that got infiltrated. And now we're at risk. And the girl is worried. Our self-source positive. But there's a solution to some of our problems, water. And we're suggested to go get the water. And we know it's one of our positives. We already wanted to drink the water with the girl. So you guys see, like, what will we do? What should we do? What is the answer? What is the answer? The answer, guys, is to go to the water. Because what they were actually doing was they couldn't defeat us anymore because of our strategy, because of our tactics. Once we pieced together that sorrow and misery were there, because the enemy could never conquer our castle, just so you guys understand. They could never defeat our castle. It's not possible. They knew that. They're not as well trained. They don't have as much reinforcements. They don't have the numbers. They don't have the strategy. They don't have the weapons, the tools. Maybe they have the gear and the upgrades and tools, but they don't have the vision. So what could they really do? Disruptions don't even do anything anymore. Do you guys understand? There's nothing that the enemy could do. They try every single day, nonstop, everything that they possibly can. But there's nothing that they can do anymore. So they realized the only thing that they could do was infiltrate through positives. Yet we then defeated that. But what is the problem to that? Because just so people know, is most of you are never going to get to the point where you catch that there's a wizard and shadow assassins intentionally infiltrating and doing poison suggests to bait you. You guys are never going to even get to that point. And then you guys are never going to get to the point where you have to make the decision. Do I rush towards the girl, my self-source positive, take her hand, and then guide her to the desert while there's danger all around us? Then a next suggestion pops up that we know is our positive. Water. Do we go there? You guys are never going to even get there. You have to know all my knowledge to have even that battle. 99% of you will never reach that point. You guys are all stopped by literally any little negative that gets presented. But if you get to this knowledge and you figure all this out, this becomes your reality. Because they can't stop you any other way. So, what I'm trying to get you all to realize is that what that story exemplifies is once we piece together where the problems are happening, but most of you attribute it to the wrong things. Imagine how easy it is to stop all of you. Because I can just point and say, oh, actually it was that caused the problem. And 99.9% of you all believe that. That's how easy it is to control all of you. I just have to point at something and say, that's what did it. And you guys now believe that. That's all it takes. Where can you guys get info that presents those things to you? Social media? Other people? Work? Friends? Family? Do you guys get it? So I'm saying if you defeat all that, they literally have to infiltrate the castle through either direct mental reminders or through other things that can present positives to you. Because now they know, though, that the positive externals don't work on you anymore because you've identified that they're the source that lead to misery and sorrow. Because you don't need them. Do you guys get it? You don't need them. You know your own positives, which means that I don't need you to tell me to play video games. I don't need you to tell me to listen to music. I don't need you to tell me to drink water or eat cereal. Do you guys understand what I'm trying to say? Is that those are your self-sourced ones. You don't need something to tell you. So if they do, you're like, why? That's what I'm saying, is that was the next play that they do. Whereas we protect ourselves from getting down the path of an intentional class that causes sorrow and misery by only doing our self-sourced ones. But then they fight back by intentionally suggesting our self-sourced ones. Because what are you supposed to do then? If you know that's the enemy, because it is, just so you guys know, it is the enemy. You know for a fact that the shadow assassin and that the wizard casts a spell that is inserting now our self-sourced positives into our head. Hey, you should listen to a Final Fantasy X song. Hey, you should play that video game you enjoy. Hey, you should create a video game puzzle in RPG Maker because that's something you enjoy. You're like, yeah. Then they further that by suggesting how you should do each thing. Hey, when you create your thing, you should do this. You should make a rock puzzle. Hey, when you listen to Final Fantasy X, hey, you should listen to this song. When you play that game, you should create like this. And then you guys see that's where the problems begin, because now they've successfully created that we have a doubt installed in us towards any positive. That's real and that's correct. We should, but it's the external positives. But now because of that, they overtly show that, hey, we're the evil ones, we're the enemy. And now we're going to suggest to you that you should do one of your own positives that you know, self-sourced. Do you guys understand the conflict that it creates? Because if the enemy suggests to you that you should do a positive that you know is one of your positives, what is that going to make you all do? You say, why do they want me to do that? That means that they're trying to write a story. It means that they're trying to control me. It means that they're trying to bait me. It means that they're trying to cause a problem. So naturally, if we've identified that their suggestions for one of our self-sourced ones lead to or supposedly lead to problems of misery or sorrow, we're not going to do our own anymore. So number one, if we allow that to happen, you guys see how that infiltration play is so dangerous, because now they stop us from actually doing our self-sourced positives, because it doesn't mean that we won't ever do them again, but we will only do them when they're not suggested by the enemy. Which means that if the enemy suggests, hey, you should watch one of your World of Warcraft videos, so a video that you enjoy from your past, of one of your accomplishments. Hey, you should read some of the knowledge from a game when you were small, a kid, League of Legends, and you understood strategy there. You should read the patch notes and understand how to piece all the knowledge together. You should do that. And I'm like, okay. Those are great things that I should do, but you know what? I'm going to choose intentionally not to do them right now because I know that the enemy suggested them. Which means that if I'm the enemy, though I'm the wizard, and I have all these shadows assassins that infiltrated the castle, I'm like, well, I don't want them to do this. 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 So you know what? Let's suggest to them all those things, and if that still doesn't stop them, then let's suggest how they should do each of those so that they can create it and modify it with a good idea that we actually have. It is a good idea because we self-evaluated. And then we're going to make sure that they don't do it because they're going to be like, why are you telling me how to create it? I don't want to create it the way the enemy suggests. I don't want to create it the way the enemy does. Do you guys get it? You can literally stop someone from doing one of their positives, and you can literally stop them from actually creating things at all. Because if you just tell them, hey, you should create it like this, and it's one of their self-sourced ones, they'll never do so. Do we get it, guys? This is their play to fight back once you identify that the external positives that are not sourced by you, if you defeat that, this is their next play. So that we never do our positives. So what's next? Now, do you guys see? Now we doubt everything. So it means that we can operate just fine, just so you guys know. I'm like, if they suggested 4 things, then we won't do those 4 positives. That's how we have, I call them the 5 to 15 that are our positives. We'll do the other 11 positives today. Do you guys understand? We'll be completely fine. There'll be 0 problems. Not one. But that means that we're still responding to the enemy. Whenever they present those 4 things, we won't do those 4, but we'll do the other 11. Tomorrow, then they present another 5, and we'll do the other 10. Do you guys get it? It means that at any point I want to control you, I can present the things that I want you to do. Because I know then that your response, your reaction is literally programmed to always do the same thing. But you see, I defeated that years ago, guys. I don't do what's expected from me. My intended reaction has been built up. So what do I do then? I realized that it's quite simple. Let's break this down. This pause is the answer, guys. Because when suggestions start happening, and you know that they're used for bad, you need to just sit there and pay attention to everything that's happening, because there's no coincidences in this world. So you have to make a choice. If you know now that they're intentionally suggesting things to you, if they're intentionally doing things now, timing, because nothing's an accident, well then, you have a choice. And they have a choice. Remember, we're talking about the wizard and the shadow assassins that appear. So now you went to the water with the girl. And when you show up there, all of a sudden, the wizard appears. And the shadow assassins. And they're like, why did you end up doing? Why are you guys here? Why are you guys drinking the water? We intentionally created all of these things and disruptions, the shadow worms, or the worms, the sandworms going in and out of the sand, to stop you, to deviate you. How did you get here? You're like, guys, what you guys got wrong is I never wanted to create your way. I never want to do things when you guys decide. I never want to write your guys' story. And they're like, okay. But the where you guys got it wrong is I know they're my positives. I know they're my self-sourced positives. They're like, yeah, and we're trying to ruin them. We're trying to bait you so that you don't know when to do them and when not to. And you grab the girl's hand a little tighter, like, hey, sorry if this hurts a little bit, but I want you to hold on. Don't be afraid. She's like, I trust you. We don't need it. We don't need her reinforcement. We don't need her support. We don't need any of my positives. They're like, now they feel fear. But you know what? We know that all these things make us feel better. So if you want to suggest them to us, to try to make us think it's a bad thing, it's not going to work anymore. You want to know why? Because now we recognize your play of how you guys present positive 1, positive 2, positive 3. Then you present an event, an interruption, a disruption, and a negative all at the same time to bring us back to reality, to remember what our reality actually is. So now that we identified your guys' exact play of how you do that, and then you present a positive that makes us now attach the positive to sorrow and misery rather than our shield, since we can see that happen either through an external overt one or through a mental one, they are just completely terrified now. They're like, oh my God. One of the shadow assassins runs away. That means that when we are doing a positive that we've self-sourced that you guys suggested that we should do, or that we are creating the way you guys suggested that we do, it doesn't even matter anymore, because the moment we see your guys' play, we can identify it right away and destroy it. Which means, if you suggest to me one of my self-sourced positives that I believe in, not only will I do it, not only will I walk that path intentionally and laugh at all of you, but enjoy it while I'm doing it, I will even enjoy it more. I will get fully consumed by excess and embrace it and enjoy it. To give you an example, I look at the girl and say, hey, wizard, I'm going to have sex with this girl tonight 100 times over and over and over again. You suggested that I should talk to the girl today? I'm not only going to talk to her, we're going to have a relationship now. They're like, shit. There is nothing you can do. You will never be able to ruin my positives. You will never be able to deviate me, and you will never be able to stop me. We were supposed to bait you to make you now doubt all your self-sourced positives and your shields. Because since you defeated sorrow and misery, this was the only thing we could do. Well, now, you guys see, I told you the answer is to break all reliance on our positives. We don't need them. I don't. I don't need the girl. I don't need the video games. I don't need the music. But if you guys suggest it to me, if you suggest my own self-sourced positives, I will walk into them intentionally, willingly. Then what? There is no clash. There is no conflict of whether I should or shouldn't. They're like, you still doing what we want? Who cares? It's one of my positives. Oh, you talked to the girl, we told you to. Who cares? It's one of my positives. I would have done so 5 hours from now or tomorrow anyway. But you did it when we wanted to. It doesn't matter. Because now I know if you guys are going to try to use it to create sorrow and misery, I can see it building before it even happens. So what now? She's like, well, it'd be good to have the Master Sword right now so we could stab the wizard, don't you think? You look at her and you're like, nah, look. The wizard all of a sudden melts into the sand, and a strong breeze gets blown by. And all of a sudden, all the sand disappears. and you're still holding on to her, and then you all of a sudden you guys are back inside the castle. And you hear music. You're like, whoa, the festival's going on. He's like, are you okay? You see this too? She's like, yeah. And there's a table, and there's literally some cereal, a bowl, and the water. And you're like, hey, I think we're back in reality now. She's like, yeah, I can't believe we just went through that. Well, obviously, we must have gotten, like, teleported to an illusionary world when we were at the ramparts. Or something. But we defeated them. You ready to have that water and the cereal now? And then she says, just one question. Yeah? Were you serious about what you said back there? Well, I don't remember exactly all what I said. I was fighting back. Like, she's like, well, you said you wanted to date me, and you said that you could have sex with me 100 times. Now, instead of feeling embarrassment or like, oh my gosh, you're like, you don't have to do it 100 times, but let's just be happy, right? You're my positive. The end. Do you guys get it? What I'm trying to get you all to realize is that I pieced together that if you now have identified of how they weaponize our positives, first the external ones are used to bait us to sorrow and misery, but are the ones that we have self-identified as our positives, that no matter what presents, do you guys get it? No matter what, if you tell me, hey, you should play this game, and I know it's one that I already enjoy, it's never a bad thing, but there might be times and place for things. Sure, you guys get it? But if you suggest to me right now that I should do it because you now have created inside of me that clash that's like, no, I'm not going to do it when you tell me. I'll play it tomorrow, but I'm not going to do it today. But now when they suggest it, it's like you give yourself permission. Do you guys get it? To now do them. Because I'm telling you guys, they weaponize that. There's literally a wizard and shadow assassins that infiltrate, and they're intentionally whispering in your ear, hey, you should do this one right now. And you're like, no, I'm not going to do it when you tell me to. And it's how they poison all those things, because now we doubt positives. We doubt any positive suggestion that is one that we already know is one of our because that's the key takeaway. It's easy to not listen to suggestions 99.9% of the time, which is the correct play, by the way, because if there's anything external that's not one of our already existing self-sourced ones, it's 99% of the time meant as a bait and meant to make us do their story, or to consume us to darkness, or to consume us down a path of sorrow and misery. But if it's a suggestion that's already one of our positives that we already know, hey, you've been playing Forspoken, hey, you've been playing Divinity Original Sin, hey, you've been playing Final Fantasy XIV Online, hey, you've been playing Doom, you've been, like, all those are just video games that I'm playing, right, guys? And they're like, you should play them. You should play them today. You should play them right now after this. That's where they weaponized it, because since they made me now doubt their positives, because I now identified that they were using it to cause problems. Do you guys see, now I didn't trust it anymore. So now they made, like, let's say I actually did want to play one of those today, because I try to, like, deviate, but once in a while I focus on one just to make a progress push, because you guys are going to realize if you can play literally 10 games at the same time, and you get back into each one very quickly, and it keeps them fresh. Because sometimes if you play one for too much time, I call it an invisible meter builds, because they start sending reminders there, and all of a sudden you start questioning things, you get confused, you don't know what to do, suggestions happen, you're like, hey, I should upgrade this, I should do this, and your mental world gets consumed because they're sending positive suggestions, and that's how they do it, guys. So what I'm trying to get you guys to realize is that if you either deviate by playing multiple, or you just be like, hey, you suggested that, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna do it. They're like, no, we wanted him to have doubt, we wanted him to feel confusion, we wanted him to hesitate, we wanted him to do that. Why is he just doing? No. Do you guys get it? That's how they ruin those things. Because if they make us start doubting our own self-source positives, that's how they create problems. Because now they're not as protected anymore. They're not protecting as much, because the entire time, even if we did choose to play them, we're like, I know they suggested this to me. Are they trying to like get me to experience the story because they want me to like get seasoned based on the information of this story right now? Do you guys see, like, even though we're still enjoying it and protected, they're like, why do they want me to talk to the girl right now? Why do they want me to, like, you guys see, like, you're not fully present anymore because one part of you is always holding up the shield. And I'm not saying that being on guard is a bad thing, but do you guys get it? How then we can't fully enjoy the experience that we're doing. It changes things. So now, if they ever suggest one of our 15 guaranteed shields, you don't have to do it right then. But I'm saying, you know what, guys? For now, I'm saying the counter to that wizard and the shadow assassin that appears, that tries to bait you by showing water in the desert, because they're not going to do it. Go to the water. Go to the water right now. But it has to be something that you already know for a fact is one of your positives. What you guys are going to realize is that it will always change your behavior. To go back to the beginning, is that it will always change your behavior a little bit, because you're like, I got suggested it. And you guys see, like, when we decide to do something, changes how we experience it. Whatever game I play next after this is going to be different. It's going to be great, but it's going to be different. Do you guys understand? Than if I had played it after, let's say, I was talking to the girl and, like, she decided to, like, try different outfits for me. And do you guys understand? Like, it would change things. So sometimes when they suggest things, we can start getting lost in, like, the order. I'm like, but we know but what I'm trying to get you guys to realize is that this play that I'm now finally back to is something that I had to first defeat at the very beginning. Because what I'm trying to get you all to realize is that when I first started this journey, when I first started learning all this knowledge, is that I realized is that they start paths for us by all of a sudden saying, it could be an ad, could be mail, it could be email, it could be text, notifications, anything. They present a 1, a +2, and a +3, and then we're like, oh, I listened to Final Fantasy X music. I literally walked by and saw a picture of Riku. She's really hot in her 10.2 version. And all of a sudden, right after that, I don't know, my mom said, what was that one game that you showed me once back in the day? It was, they had to swim underwater and, like, find these ancient ruins, and they fought, like, this octopus, and they, like, threw a grenade at it, and what? And I'm like, oh, Final Fantasy X. Now, because of that reinforcement in the path I began, most of us will choose to play Final Fantasy X. Is what I'm trying to get you guys to realize is that's level 1, guys. So what ended up happening was I defeated that because I realized, I'm like, they try to intentionally get us to do things at a set time because they want to present specific information to us. Once I learned that, you guys see, I completely threw all that away. I gave up on all those things. I never would listen again. But what I'm saying now is, guys, that they brought that back. But now that they brought it back, we're a completely new person. It's a return journey. We know so much more. We can identify everything that's happening when it's happening. So now if they tell me to play it, I can still decide. You guys, it can be like, I'm not going to play it right now, but I'm going to play it 30 minutes from now. It's a really good suggestion. It's one of my self-sourced positives. I know it's one of mine, and I will play it. But you guys see, before I would be like, I can never. Now I'm like, and I got to the point where now I was like doubting and not trusting it. But I'm saying, if they want to suggest things to me again, and they're my self-sourced, because that was their only counter. Do you guys get it? They had to suggest my 5 to 15, because then I would doubt them and I wouldn't do them. And now I won't anymore. Because now I'm trained enough that I can identify when there's a mist wizard and shadow assassins present. And if they're the ones that just suggested to me, I can now even literally walk into those things, walk toward the water in the desert, knowing that it's a mirage that they created, and I could drink some of the water. I'm like, thank you for giving me water. And they're like, what? How is this possible? How is this happening? So let's finish up with this. That, what I just talked about, guys, is what I'm saying is why we have to just always keep creating new and move forward, because we're not refined. I did refine the things that I talked about yesterday, but you guys see, I only added, think of it like yesterday I got from 0 to 70. Today, I got from 70 to 100. But the 70 to the 100 that I talked about today wasn't relevant yesterday. Because the 0 to 70 that I figured out, deciphered, and solved yesterday was relevant to what I was experiencing yesterday and the weeks before, and that I couldn't solve yet. Then once I solved it, you guys understand, they immediately created new problems, new situations, new attacks, new strategies that that were destroying my new strategy that solved their current chess move, their current way of attacking the castle. So once I pieced that together, you guys get it, my reality changed. Literally within 12 hours of my streaming yesterday. That's how the world works. So then they created a new approaches, and I'm saying I've already now solved and defeated their new attack, Fantasy Empires, on the castle within hours. It's already over. Do you guys understand? They already lost. We are victorious. We won. 2 times in a row now. And if anything, now what you see now though, there's going to be questions that are going to arise, that are going to happen, because I'm like, okay, I'd kind of pushed away some of my positives, not doing them anymore, but I'm like, I put them a little bit more in the distance, because I'm like, I don't want to get baited to excess in all of them, just because, well, I now know the dangers of the positives. So now I'm saying, well, because there's going to be things that could present now. And I'm just going to throw some hypotheticals. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to wait to see what happens, just so you guys know. I'm going to see what my reality becomes now that I'm going to operate this way. You guys see, like, I create something, I learn something, I piece something together, I figure something out, and then it changes how I operate. And then I see the response. So then I can then, as things change, I can then piece new things together and operate a different way yet again. But because now my question could be like, well, are they going to try to bait me to excess? Are they going to just present all my self-source positive, like nonstop over and over again, so that I keep, because now they're like, well, he's going to do them if we present it. Will I just keep doing them that? Could they control, like, you guys see, like, there's going to be new questions that happen, but I'm also now stronger and different. Because before, if they presented them to me, I always did them, right? Now I'm saying I defeated that and I didn't do them if they ever presented them to me. Now I'm like, I will gladly walk into those paths. If those are my positive, of course I'll do them. You want to talk to the girl and have cereal and water with her? Yep, I'll do it. Do you guys see, like, but will that now change things? But one thing is for certain, it means that they can't make me doubt my own positives anymore. If they want me to create a certain way, you know what? This part might be the coolest part. I'm actually gonna write it out. I'm gonna grab my phone and I'm gonna write in my notes. Normally you can write it by hand too, but either one works. Just something that you can write to yourself, guys. And when you figure out something, you write it out so that you remember. So what I'm gonna write out is if they suggest that we should create something a certain way, and one of our positives we can easily choose to explore that and toy with that suggestion. Not for bad, but to see if we can learn anything. Yet, we don't have to, because we know our positives. So why am I writing this out like this? Because I'm gonna read this again, guys. That part, hours from now, or maybe tomorrow, and I'm going to have experienced different things before I reread what I just wrote. Right now, I believe that that could be the answer. But what if from now, the moment I turn off the stream and I start doing things, till maybe I don't read that till tomorrow, but I've experienced 100 different things. When I read it tomorrow, I'm gonna be like, why did I write this? This is so wrong. This is literally, I got baited to write this. This is not the correct answer. Or I could be like, wow, I was onto something here, but I was just missing this piece. Do you guys see, like, when we do something like that, I'm not going back and editing what I wrote. I'm now after I experience new things and see the response from the world, I can now create new based on that. I'm like, that wasn't the right idea. Or I'm like, wow, I actually was on something here. Now I'm just gonna modify it a little bit more. Do we get it, guys? That's how it's done. If you do that, you can always create new, and you're not hesitating or being worried because you're just solving what you're experiencing live, what's actually going on in your reality. Every single time as it's happening, you're just solving it, and you're figuring out new, and you're moving forward. There's nothing they can do. Now, do I need to do something like this every day? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It just, you guys see it, but I'm not worried about it anymore. Because I'm telling you guys, what I was always worried about was the excess. Now I'm not worried about the excess. I do know it's going to change me, so that's real. But I also now know that if they suggest it to me and they suggest that I should talk about something specific or create a specific way, I'm saying I don't have to. But I could be like, all right, you want me to explore that? Let's explore that then. And I'm thinking, I see I'm already talking about what I just wrote. Preemptively, I'm like, probably not for the stream. Just so you guys are aware. The stream, I feel like it's not the place to do that in, because it actually really does change me a lot. For something like a video game, or see, I'm gonna add that. I'm just gonna write not for stream. And do you guys see, like, I'm just like, because I know that this actually changes me, because if there's so much reinforcement and so much deciphering that happens. Whereas when let's say like I'm creating my video game, or making music, or creating a little experience in a game that I'm already playing, it's not as impactful. Do you guys understand? Like, sure, the experience in that game got impacted. And see, I'm gonna write one more thing. Do you guys see how this is done? But look, now I'm gonna like keep going. But this is good, because if anyone's actually going to experience this, it's a reminder for them to maybe try doing stuff like this. Because you see, now I'm like, okay, so if I do play my games and they suggest something, all right, let's try it out. Oh, you guys think I should do this without this item? All right, let's try it. Oh, you want me to talk about that in my stream? No. Do you guys see, we're now able to choose. That's actually really cool. But at the same time, if they say, hey, you should stream today, I can just be like, yep, you're right, let's do it. I don't need them to do it. I don't need them to suggest anything. But before, if they suggested that to me, do you guys understand? It would stop me. Now, if they say, we're suggesting you should stream today, I'm like, yeah, I'll stream today, but I'm going to talk about my own thing. That's when the wizard and the shadow assassins and the water mirage in the desert disappear. So, that was me literally just talking about all my experiences that have happened in response to solving sorrow and misery. What I talked about today is what happens once we defeat sorrow. We start getting suggestions, a lot of them, and they're all tied to our positives that we already know. Because they want us, if they can't use if they can't use positives to create sorrow in us, they're gonna make us doubt all our positives, so that we don't know what to do and we can't create our way, and we're just, you guys see, like, we're worried too much about what's happening rather than just experiencing. Because I'm telling you guys, it wasn't easy. Even some of my pauses, I knew, I'm just like, once you know what's happening, it changes things. That this was the answer. Does it mean I'm gonna get it right 100% of the time? Probably not. But you guys get it? Like, I just figured something out, and now I'm gonna execute and operate a little differently. And this is what I encourage all of you to get to. You do something like this, you piece something together, you figure it out, you're sharing knowledge for other people if they want to follow your path. They don't have to. And then you move forward. And now from this point forward, there's going to be, like I said, guys, yesterday was 0 to 70, today was 70 to 100. This 70 to 100 didn't present yesterday, but it presented today, and now we solved it. So now, people are like, oh, is it over then? I'm like, no, well, now what happens from 100 on? Who knows? Maybe for the next 12 hours, we're going to get to 100 to 110, and there's not going to be a lot that happens. Well, then we don't really have to change anything, and we don't really have to learn anything new, and we don't have to decipher anything. We don't have to figure out anything. And maybe all of a sudden, tomorrow we get 100 to 200, we're like, whoa, there's so much that just happened. Well then, I need to do another one of these and be like, all right, so guys, this is what's happening now. Things are getting crazy. It's getting absurd. Do you guys get it? So, if I ask all of you guys, if you've defeated sorrow, and I suggest to you one of the positives that you know are yours. Hey, you should drink water in the desert. You're not operating with sorrow and misery. Because if you were operating with sorrow and misery and you saw the water, don't go to the water. That's really the key takeaway. If you have sorrow and misery present, if you're currently consumed by sorrow, misery, despair, this is the answer. If you are currently consumed by sorrow, misery, or despair, and the water appears in the distance, don't go toward it. But if you've defeated that, and they're like, hey, I know you're someone who enjoys drinking water. There's water over there. And you're operating completely calm, in full control, and you see everything. Well, you can choose now, but yeah, I'm going to go drink some water. I am going after this. Because I'm telling you guys, the next play after you defeat sorrow is they weaponize suggestions regarding our known positives that we self-created or self-sourced to create doubt and to destroy them. What happens now? We'll find out in the next episode of General Shepherd Star. See you guys another time.